There are NFTs out there that have a head above the rest, that just completely stand out and blow their competition out of the water. NFTs that are reliable, that are established, that have a big roadmap and provide a lot of utility. These NFTs are called blue chip NFTs. And in this video, I'm going to be going over the top 8 blue chip CNFTs in my opinion, as well as some honorable mentions at the end. But without further ado, guys, let's get into it. The great thing about being a CNFT YouTuber is that I'm constantly looking at CNFTs, right? So I get a pretty good understanding of all these different projects. I know pretty much the top 50, the top 1, or maybe even the top 100 projects. Like, I'm constantly on here. So these different picks that I'm about to show you guys today are projects that I really think are going to be around, not just for a year or a couple months, like some of these projects if the hype dies down, but I really think are going to be here in the long term. And if you followed some of my other videos, you'll know that I'm very bullish on NFTs outside of the Ethereum ecosystem. So getting into some of these blue chip NFTs on Cardano, which is one of the biggest blockchains out there, is probably going to be a really great move as far as a long-term investment goes. Starting with project number 1, we have Spacebudz. Now this is a no-brainer. It is the largest project on the Cardano NFT ecosystem with a total volume of 23 million. Now Spacebudz are going to cost you a pretty penny. They are 7,000 ADA. What's kind of crazy about this is I had made a video a couple weeks ago, I believe, talking about how I think Spacebudz is going to be the CryptoPunks of the Cardano ecosystem. And it's kind of crazy because I bought my Spacebudz just a couple weeks ago for 4,000 ADA. Now I know ADA's price has been going all over the place, but it's pretty crazy to see that it has already risen to a 7,000 ADA floor. As far as this project goes, the main reason I'm bullish isn't their website. It isn't necessarily the fact that they have 30,000 followers on Twitter and they do a good job marketing. The main reason that I'm bullish on this is because of its establishedness. There is going to have to be a #1 project on Cardano's NFTs, right? Very similar to CryptoPunks, where you can't even get your hands on a CryptoPunks right now. And if you do get your hands on one, you are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? So there's gonna have to be something like that on the Cardano ecosystem. It only makes sense. And Spacebudz is going to be the CryptoPunks of the Cardano ecosystem. What else could it be? It has the most volume of all time. And on top of that, guys, it's not just like it had a lot of volume at one point. It still ranks in the top 5 in the 30 days, in the 7 days, in the 24 hours. Like, this is a project that has just extreme establishedness, and it also has extreme relevancy. And it is something that is always going to be around, and it is going to be the OG of the Cardano ecosystem. So we can expect that if Cardano NFTs blow up, which they 100% eventually will, let me make that very clear to everyone here, then we are going to see a huge rise in Spacebudz as a result, very similar to CryptoPunks. Spacebudz is something that I really believe is going to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably within the next 5 years, maybe the next 10 years if we're being generous, right? So definitely keep your eye on Spacebudz. I know it's a lot of money, but this is probably the most premier blue chip NFT that I am going to be going over in this video. The next project we're going over is Pavia. Now you guys are going to realize that some of these projects, especially in the beginning of this video, are going to be in this top 10 section. The reason is because they're already established and they're definitely blue chips to get to this point, and they have to be worth mentioning. Now there's going to be some picks that I'm having that are a lot further down this list, but just keep that in mind that these are already projects that have shown that they are blue chip potential, and that's why I have to include them. Now Pavia is the premier metaverse project on the Cardano ecosystem. I am extremely bullish on metaverse stuff, and I don't think enough people really realize like how big the metaverse is going to be and how important this is going to be. And I'm going to make an entire video on it, so make sure you're subscribed if you eventually want to see that. Pavia is an absolutely amazing project. It is the #1 Cardano metaverse project, as I said, and they are very established. The big thing that you guys have to realize when it comes to metaverse stuff, it's all about adoption. What are people willing to pay for this land? At the end of the day, it's only worth what someone's willing to pay for it. I don't care if a project says, oh, there's only going to be 10,000 pieces of land. Well, that land is worthless unless people, find value in it. So the great thing about Pavia is because it is the second largest project on Cardano, and because it is the largest metaverse project on Cardano as well, we can assume that this is going to be a project that a lot of people adopt and a lot of people believe in. You can look at the interactive 3D map on Pavia's website, which is pretty cool, and you're going to notice that there are different key things going on. So we have a central plaza where a lot of stuff is going to happen. We have a launch pad over over here. We have a stadium where different shows and different events are going to happen over here. And what's cool is if you own land, you can actually put your NFT on it. You can put your contact information. You can put your Twitter. Like, I can definitely see this being something that businesses in the future, such as McDonald's, might have their Happy Meal logo over here, right? And there's going to be this huge push to adopt this virtual land, and all these businesses and big corporations are going to get into it and flex, oh, look at this land we got. But this is going to be a very big deal, guys. And I love how Pavia has 61,000 followers. They actually have one of the largest followings, potentially the largest followings out of any project on the Cardano ecosystem. They have so much engagement. They're constantly posting every day. They are partnering with all these different projects and ecosystems. It's just insane. Like, I really believe that Pavia is going to be the Decentraland for Cardano, and to be able to get in at 400 ADA while everyone's undercutting each other is just a steal. On my Twitter, I did a shout out saying, dude, I think that Pavia is going to drop to 380 to this 400 range once all those pieces of land come out, because they increase supply by 67%. And that's exactly where we're at now. I personally have bought about 5 or 6 pieces of this land at this price, and I think as a long-term investment goes, this is a no-brainer. This might dip a little bit more in the short term, but we know there's never going to be any more land in the future, and the amount of sellers right now taking profit is also at its highest. So as far as a long-term opportunity here, guys, I think that this is going to be one of the last opportunities to get land this cheap. The next project on our list, guys, is Clay Nation by Claymates, and they have had almost 16 million ADA worth of volume since their inception. Clay Nations is very similar to Spacebudz in the fact that they were one of the first OG projects as well that did this whole 10,000 PFP thing, right? They look really great, and the community behind Clay Nations is the most hardcore I've ever seen, dude. Like, I don't know what they did to make their community this hardcore, but the people holding these Clay Nations do not sell their Clay Nations. And what's cool is they're constantly releasing more versions of these Clay Nations, such as like special edition Halloween stuff, and they're always doing like these different partnerships and giveaways. They have over 30,000 followers. I mean, this team does a very great job, and I don't think I've seen a community this hardcore. These Clay Nations actually look super cool. Now, the thing is when I first got into CNFTs, I was like, I don't know how I feel about them, but they actually look really cool. They have a lot of character, and I'm pretty sure they actually physically made a lot of these. I don't know if they did it for all of them, but I know that they actually handmade a lot of these different ones, especially these different special edition ones, such as this Snoop Dogg one that they're showing in this video. I mean, it's just really cool. Like, what these guys are doing is pretty insane, and I don't see Clay Nation going away at all. They also announced that they're going to be making like this whole Clay Nation metaverse thing where you're going to have tents and you're going to be able to go in there in the metaverse. It's going to be super cool. I'm sure when they actually release this and, you know, do some sort of whitelisting if you own a Clay Nation, that this is just going to go up a lot, right? But overall, I think Clay Nation is a really cool project. They have that strong community, like I said, and I really don't see them going anywhere. Love them or hate them, guys. The next project on the list is Bosscat Rocket Club, as well as their parts, as well as their Boss Planet that is releasing right now and is going to be doing the public drop in just 3 days on the 19th. Not only have they had a tremendous volume, but all of their cats have a 2600 ADA floor, which is pretty high, and their parts have a 5900 ADA floor, which is high as well. I also made a video going over their space rockets and how they're going to be doing a royalty share with these rockets and how much money you can make from those. And these rockets are going for about 19 to 20,000 ADA as well. I've made a lot of content covering Bosscat Rocket Club, so you guys can look at those different videos and get more information. But to just sum it up, they are providing an insane level of utility. They have that rocket where you're going to be able to get royalties. They're going to have buybacks. They're going to have all this different utility with that Boss Planet metaverse. They're going to have a play to earn game. They're going to have different events. They're going to be in all these different metaverses. I mean, they are really doing a tremendous job as far as providing utility, even though that they have done sketchy stuff in the past and have done a lot of stupid stuff. I don't know why they do some of the stuff they do. But regardless, I think that this is a project that is just only going to get bigger over time and could potentially be the Bored Ape Yacht Club of the Cardano ecosystem. If you're going to buy into this project, I would wait a little bit though. I really think that we're going to see a dip in the near future as soon as Boss Planet is done being sold. I think that we could see these cats and the parts drop a decent amount. And if that does happen, then that's just going to be an incredible opportunity to get in for the long term. I don't know where things are going to drop, and I'm wrong like way more than I'd like to admit, but I really think that we could see a decent drop here. And if these cats go to like 1,500, or if these parts go to like 3,000 or 4,000 ADA, or if these rockets go down a lot, you bet your butt that I'm going to be buying up a lot of this stuff as a long-term hold, right? Because they are a project that is actually doing stuff and not just talking. The next project on our list is Cornucopias. Now, this is another big metaverse project that has actually not launched yet on Cardano, so you can't see it on the handy dandy open CNFT tools as far as volume goes. Now, I made an entire 24 minute video covering this project, so if you're really interested, make sure you watch that video because there is a lot to cover. But the big thing you guys have to know with this is that they are doing this whole metaverse very similar to Pavia, but it just looks insane though. Like, it really looks insane. You can check out their YouTube channel, see the different stuff they're doing, but you're going to be in these really cool domes in the sky. You're going to have these different spaceships. They already have their Copy token. Their tokenomics are great. Their roadmap is great. If you watch their videos, you'll see just how good their art is and how intuitive their building process is. This is a project that has an amazing docs team and I think is going to do extremely well. Unfortunately, they had delayed their whole rocket that they were supposed to be doing, like this whole spaceship. They delayed that to a further date, but when this comes out, you bet your butt that I'm going to be buying significantly because I believe in this team. I believe in the stuff they're doing. I think that their art looks good. I think everything is planned out. I mean, this is just a project that is a blue chip no matter how you look at it, and I really think that those spaceships that are retailing, I believe, for 120 ADA are going to do exceptionally well, and when they actually release land for this stuff, I am going to be buying a bunch. I think that the top 3 metaverse projects really are going to be Pavia, Cornucopias, and Boss Planet, so I'm keeping a big eye on those 3 because that can be a situation where all of a sudden one of those becomes Decentraland or one of those becomes Sandbox, and this project in particular has a lot of potential of being that. As promised, guys, we are finally getting away from like the top 5, top 10 slots, right? And we are looking at the 17th largest project, which is Borg Club with 1.5 million ADA worth of volume. Borg Club is just another project that has been delivering a tremendous amount of utility. There's only 3,333 of these guys, and they're currently at a 300 ADA floor, which I believe is a very good price. The art on these guys looks pretty good, and they have a very unique style, and I personally like how a lot of them have amazing hair like I do. So it's pretty cool to see that sort of representation. But yeah, this project looks very good. They've recently just launched these corrupted chips, which are going to be used to corrupt the Borgs as well as be a part of their DAO. This project is ultimately just doing a lot. They have a great marketing team. They have a lot of different utility that they're adding. It's very well thought out, and I personally think right now is a pretty good time to buy them. If you looked at my Hype FOMO video, you'll know that a lot of people buy into the hype, especially when they're launching a season 2, right? So these Borgs had gone from like 250 ADA all the way to 400 ADA leading up to their corrupted chip drop. And these chips were 90 ADA, so they're not going for much more than the price of what they costed. I personally think though that these chips are going to go up a lot over time, and I think these Borgs are going to go up a lot over time. It's all about hype in the CNFT industry right now. Like, what's the most hyped up? What are people paying attention to? What are people going crazy about? And what I really realized as an investor is that we really have to sell on this hype. So make sure that you watch that video. But I also said that we have to buy when people aren't paying attention to stuff and when people are selling stuff. So right now, I personally think that these corrupted chips are going to do very well in the future. I think as soon as they announce the utility and once you're able to be a part of that DAO and once you're able to corrupt your Borg, I think that's going to bring a lot more money and volume into this project. And one of the things I look for when getting into these different projects is I look for catalyst events. And I need to talk about this more in my channel because I realize there's a lot of stuff I do subconsciously that I don't really iterate to you guys, right? But the big thing is there going to be a reason that hype goes up a lot in the future, right? Is there going to be another season? Is there going to be some sort of utility increase? Is there going to be some sort of metaverse plot of land that people are going to have to own your project in order to get into, right? So if you think about it, Borg Clubs went from 250 to 400 simply because people wanted to own one so that they could get a part of this corrupted chip. And then what happened is once that corrupted chip happened and they were able to use that utility, then a lot of people that bought Borg Clubs for that reason then sold their Borg Clubs. Now what's happening with these corrupted chips? People aren't paying attention to them because guess what? You can't really use them yet. So a catalyst news event or a catalyst event is, oh my God, look at these really cool mutated Borgs that you can now do because we are releasing this in the next week and you can use this chips for that. That is going to be an event or news that creates a lot of hype, that creates a lot of FOMO, and these chips are going to go up a lot in price because of that. The next project on our list is Lazy Llamas at the 28th largest spot with 1 million ADA worth of volume. Lazy Llamas look great, and this is another project very similar to Borg Club where they just have a tremendous amount of utility. They've recently launched their serums where you're going to be able to mutate your llamas, and those serums are going for like 300, 400 ADA. They also just partnered with ADA Realm, and they were able to get 20,000 spots of metaverse land on the ADA Realm ecosystem, which is going to have a lot of different benefits for their Lazy Llama community. Lazy Llamas has done an excellent job marketing. They have a very strong community. I'm very impressed with how strong their community is, and they're constantly a project that is launching more stuff. Hey, we've got mutations. Hey, we have another season. Hey, we have this metaverse land. Hey, we have this partnership, right? Like, I want to see those things. Like, I can't stand when projects promise stuff and they don't deliver. So when you actually see a project delivering, then that is a huge deal to me. And this is one of those projects that are delivering. Now, in one of my videos recently, that Hype FOMO video, I did say that I think Lazy Llamas were going to dip after this Lazy Island sale. And guess what? They actually did dip. It was just a day later and they did get to 300 ADA briefly, which is where I had said that they were going to go. So it's pretty crazy that that actually happened. But if you look here, guys, they've already bounced back to about 350 ADA, which is very impressive to me. Borg Club is taking a little bit longer to bounce back, but this just shows me like how loyal the different owners of these Lazy Llamas are. They're so loyal to the point that even after a big catalyst news or a big utility event like the islands happen, like they're so bullish that even after that whole land sale and even after that utility is gone, they're still buying up these llamas. It's just insane. And I really like to see this with projects. And I think that this is one of the slept on projects that is going to get a lot bigger in the future, especially when you're able to mutate your llamas because they do look super cool. The next project on our list is Derp Birds at 20. Now I accidentally skipped Derp Birds, so sorry guys, but we have 1.4 million ADA volume, and this is another project that has just been doing so much as far as utility and adding stuff. Derp Birds currently have 10,000 available with a 125 ADA floor, and they are, believe it or not, derpy. So I actually think these look pretty cool. They look really stupid, and stupid stuff sells. Like, if you're really trying to be like a degenerate and just be, just not care, this is like the type of project you get into as far as visuals. I think the accessories look cool, the colors look cool, and I personally think that this art really stands out. Just to go over some of the utility, guys, they recently had launched these eggs where people were able to get the eggs if they had Derp Birds, and then all of a sudden, you were able to get derplings from your derp eggs. So it's just so silly. But look, like those derp eggs are going for like 40 ADA. These derplings are going for 47 ADA. So it's just cool that they're providing these different utilities for their people that are holding and for their entire ecosystem. They even released derp apes recently, which is also going for 40 ADA, and they have over 8,888 of these. I was really impressed with their website, just how everything looks. They're even going to have their whole derp metaverse in the future. I think it's called Derptopia. Their team does an extremely good job. I mean, they have over 14,000 followers on Twitter too. They're constantly posting stuff. They're very, very transparent. The team does a great job. I just love how transparent they are. Like when I was in their Discord and I was looking around, like they are just so honest, and it's really cool to see that honesty, to see that cool art, to see such a strong community, and on top of that, see them delivering on so many different things, as well as having, big things in the future, having big things in the roadmap. Once again, catalyst news. What's the catalyst news coming up? Well, crap, guys, we're gonna have Derptopia. We're going to be able to, go in this Derptopia metaverse. Like, it's just cool. I like this project, and it's something that I really didn't know about until recently. Like, for some reason, it didn't catch my eye or I wasn't paying attention to it. But when I looked into it more, I was like, wow, these guys are on it, and I think that they're going to be on it for a while, and I think that they do have this long-term vision that I look for when it comes to blue chip projects. Those were the 8 major blue chip projects that I'm really interested in and that I think in the long term are going to do really well just because of the amount of utility, their establishedness, their relevancy, how much they're delivering, their community, their Twitter. Like those 8 projects that I just went over, I'm very bullish on as far as a long-term situation and as a long-term movement of the overall CNFT market. There are just 4 more projects that I'm going to be going over quickly that are just some honorable mentions that I'm keeping my eye on and that I think could do well as well. The first honorable mention is the 8th largest NFT, which is called Chilled Kongs at 4.5 million ADA worth of volume. There are 8,888 of these Chilled Kongs with a 579 ADA floor, and it is currently the largest ape project on the CNFT ecosystem. Now we have ADA Ape Society very close behind, and ADA Ape Society hasn't been around nearly as long as this project. These Chilled Kongs look great, and I know we're going to need a major ape project on the CNFT ecosystem. It only makes sense that we have a major one that blows up, and I think that Chilled Kongs does a pretty good job as far as the art and establishedness goes. Now, one thing that I want to mention with these 8 projects on Cardano is there isn't one that stands out to me like crazy. Like the art on this stuff looks pretty good, but if you look at their roadmap and you look at the different things they're doing, they haven't really delivered on a lot of different things or provided some sort of crazy utility in the roadmap. When you're buying this, you're really just buying the art. Now they've talked about doing all these different things, but they haven't really done them yet. And I think like the whole reason it didn't make my list and it's just an honorable mention is because I don't see any catalytic news that is going to bring a lot of people into buying these besides the fact that they are just the biggest ape project, which might get overtaken by ADA Ape Society pretty soon. I really need to see utility being added to these different projects. Maybe they'll add it in the future, but it's like, dude, you guys are making a killing right now off of royalties and off of the initial sale. You have one of the top projects on the Cardano ecosystem. Why have you guys not been doing more stuff? And it just makes me question either your expertise and skills as far as a team goes, or it makes me question how much they care about really growing this project. I do think that this project was worth mentioning though, guys. Like we do need a big ape project on the CNFT ecosystem, so it makes sense that Chilled Kongs or ADA Ape Society is going to be that project for now. I'd really like to see a project that has apes that just has a tremendous amount of utility and is a clear winner as far as being the top ape project, but for the most part, a lot of these ape projects on the Cardano ecosystem really aren't doing anything too crazy besides their art, and a lot of their art is very basic. So I would really, I'd really like to see one of these projects come out in the future that is doing cool stuff such as Borg Club or Lazy Llamas or, some of these other projects I mentioned in this video. The next project on this list is Mutant Crocs at the 46th largest spot with 775,000 ADA worth of volume. I've covered this project in the past a little bit, but the cool thing about these Crocs as well as their toads is that you're actually going to get a percentage or a royalty from their marketplace. So they launched a marketplace just recently called Epoch Art, and it's really trying to basically compete with JPEG Store and CNFT. Percentage of every single transaction fee is going to be split between the Mutant Toads, which is going to be 40% split between all of these guys, and then there's also going to be 60% split between the Mutant Crocs. So we can think that if they actually compete with JPEG Store and CNFT, that they will get a decent amount of transaction volume and that those fees are going to be paid to holders of their NFTs. I like the utility of this. I like the aspect of being able to make money over time. I just question their ability to compete with JPEG Store. JPEG Store has really been dominating the CNFT marketplace. I think it's had about 70% of overall transactions in the past month as far as marketplaces go. And the second place is Spacebudz, which is only Spacebudz. And I think that was like 10, 11, or 12%, somewhere in that range. So it'd be interesting to see if they are actually able to compete with JPEG Store and CNFT. I do like though that this project is actually going to be launching 3 more factions. So you know that you're going to be able to get into the whitelisting and get a good price on their upcoming drops. And they are planning on making a game with this as well. So this is a team team that really is trying to deliver a lot. They have a lot in their roadmap, and they have a lot of big catalyst news in the future, and they also have this marketplace, which is cool as well. Another honorable mention is CardanoVillage. They are the 31st largest with 950,000 ADA worth of volume. CardanoVillage is another metaverse project on the Cardano ecosystem, and they do a really great job. Just recently, they launched some of their land just a couple days ago, and it was only 58 ADA. It was 8.5 ADA if you owned some of their houses, which is cool how they were able to reward people that were already owning some of their stuff. I honestly really love CardanoVillage. I believe they're doing a very good job as far as providing utility. We know that there's going to be a couple more seasons in the future with land, so hopefully we can get land at a very good price if we are holding some of the stuff that they have already released. Like, for example, I had 5 of their houses, and I was able to get 5 land tickets where I only had to spend 8.5 ADA to get one of these pieces of land, right? And now the land is going for 170, so that was a pretty big gain as far as it comes to that. So I can expect in the future that when they launch more land, that is going to be more catalyst news, which is going to bring up the price of this land and the houses as well. The last project on our list today, guys, is Equine NFT Pioneer Horses. Might be Equine. I don't really know. I pronounce everything wrong, so I know I'm going to get roasted in the comments if I'm saying this wrong. But regardless, if you add up their horses, their skins, and their jockeys, you're looking at over 1 million ADA worth of volume. So I believe it's actually one of like a top 25 Cardano NFT project. The project currently has about 14,000 of these horses with about a 220-230 ADA floor. Now, the great thing about this project is that they're actually making a horse racing, breeding, and trading game, which is super cool. You have all these thousands of different race horses that have different traits, different abilities, and different stats. You also have 60 different jockeys or riders for these horses, and you also have thousands of different skins as well as distinct jockeys. I love how they're making a game out of their NFT, and it looks like they're actually going to deliver on some of this stuff. The website looks really good, and their team is actually doxed, which I like a lot. Now, what's basically going to happen is you're going to have these race horses, and they're not going to last forever, but when you race them, you're going to be able to get money from them for winning the races, right? And you're also going to have jockeys. So you're going to have all these different riders that are going to ride the horses. Now, what's cool is there are different combinations of jockeys with horses that are going to give you better stats. So there's a lot of strategy that's going to go into this game, which I don't see in that many crypto games. What's cool is you're going to also be able to breed these guys. So you're going to be able to breed them and get new horses and potentially get genetically superior offspring or discover new bloodlines and rare colorways. Now, one of the things they were probably thinking is, oh my God, you know, this is a depreciating asset, kind of like the dollar, cough, cough, cough. But regardless, they thought that through because they're like, hey, all these new horses are going to come in from breeding. We got to do something about that. So that's why they said, hey, we're going to do a life cycle. And in 18 months or 18 horse years, they're going to die. And throughout their livelihood, they're going to be a young horse that might not be as good as racing. And then during their prime, from 6 to 11 months, they're going to be kicking butt on the race course. And then as they get older, maybe you can breed during this time. And then they're eventually going to die, which is going to mean that it's taking stuff out of the circulation, which is huge. You don't want something that just a ton is being produced and nothing is being taken away. So I actually really like the concept of this and how they thought all of this through. They even showed the different stats that your horses can have: speed, stamina, acceleration, endurance, agility. Maybe they even have some mental stats like wisdom, determination, courage. Like not a single horse is going to be the same, and I like that. And the ability to experiment and get these different skins, which looks super cool, and get these different jockeys and pair stuff up together. It's just really cool, and I think that this project is going to be a major blue chip project if they actually deliver on this stuff. Now, I do think they're going to deliver because if you look at their team, they are all, established. They're all doxed. And on top of that, they actually have a big following. Like this main guy that's running the show has 19,000 followers. So this is a team that is actually going to deliver, in my opinion. And I am excited about this project. And after going over it a little bit more, I realized dude, this should have been on my blue chip list. This shouldn't have been an honorable mention. But yeah, I like this project and it was a good finisher for our video today. Overall though, guys, those are the main projects that I would stick to. I believe I talked about 12 projects today, 8 being the main core, and then 9 if you really include these Equine Horses that I just went over. I really believe that these different CNFT projects will do well in the long run, especially since I, did a deep dive of their website, marketing, utility, everything. Like, I really believe that these are the blue chip projects, and if Cardano NFTs really blow up like I think they will, then these are projects that are probably going to blow up with it and stay around for the long term. That wraps up today's video though, guys. I know this must be a super long video. Like, I have no idea. All I know is my throat is hurting right now. So, if you enjoyed this video or the content, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Also, make sure to follow my Twitter in the description. I try posting stuff on an everyday basis that I think has potential that I can't necessarily make a video on. But yeah, hope everyone here has an awesome day.